So one of my favorite things to eat and cook on a barbecue is chicken. But I came to the realization over the years that I don't like smoked chicken all that much. I'd much prefer grilled chicken. I find personally, for me, chicken can get over smoked quite easily, and I just generally prefer the taste of direct heat. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I would cook a chicken at home, and it's how I cook a chicken at home pretty regularly. So what I have here is a really high quality, organic, grain-fed or multi-grain fed chicken. And my preferred way of cooking a chicken is by splitting it down into two halves. Take his little feet out, and I like to take off his little boots. And also, someone once commented on one of my other chicken videos that the yellow skin of the chicken meant that it was ill or something. In the UK, we have lots of different types of feed for chickens, and the feed and the chicken's age can impact the color. So typically corn-fed chickens will have a yellow tinge to them. Definitely nothing wrong with it. Its wings are already tucked, and then I'm gonna turn it on its head, find its little tail, and then I'm gonna go down the back side of it, down the spine, and you can generally feel your way around this. If you're coming up against resistance, just kind of change the angle of your knife. Cook that separately, and you've got some smoked chicken spine for stock. Flip it round, push it down, and then you're going to find the very center through the breastplate and then slice the skin. And then we have two very nice chicken halves. And the first thing I like to do anytime I'm cooking chicken is to give it a dry brine. And to do that, I'm going to put it onto a wire rack. So when it goes into the fridge, there's air circulating all around it. That'll help to dry the surface out a little bit. And then I'm going to hit it pretty liberally with some kosher salt. You could use table salt or seasoning salt. And this is going to do a couple of things. Firstly, this salt is going to draw out some moisture. That moisture is going to be drawn back into the meat. That means that we're going to have seasoned meat all the way through rather than just salt on the surface. Arguably the most important bit. And in a nutshell, this salt is also going to damage some of the muscle. So when we do put it under some heat, i.e. cook it, the muscle is going to be slightly weaker than it was before, and it's not going to actively push out the juices like it would had we not brined it. So a saltier, more seasoned chicken, and one that should be juicier. So that's the first step. This is going to go into the fridge, ideally overnight, but really as long as you've got. Today, I'm going to do it for about 6 hours, which is just enough time to tell you about the sponsor of today's video. If there's a way to wake up feeling refreshed after a night of drinking, it is with pre-alcohol. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was actually invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And basically, here's how it works. When you drink alcohol, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. And pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break that byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. So I'm sure many of you know that I run barbecue classes at the weekends, pretty much all the way through the summer. That means that even if I go out for a couple of drinks on a Friday night, I still have to be my absolute best very early in the morning. So by drinking pre-alcohol before my first drink the night before, I can wake up feeling my best and ready to smash the day. So if you're interested in trying ZBiotics pre-alcohol, click the link in the description to get 15% off at checkout. Plus, ZBiotics offer a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. So click the link below and save yourself some money. And thanks very much to ZBiotics for sponsoring this video. So a good couple of hours later, this has been in the fridge dry brining, and hopefully a lot of that salt will have found its way into the muscle. The skin seems to have dried out nicely in most places. Should be on for some nice crispy skin. So you could definitely throw it on like this. It's going to be delicious. Quite often I'll just be doing salt and pepper chicken with a nice mop sauce, but I'm going for something slightly different today, something a little less involved. So I'm going to hit this with a rub. And I don't use a lot of commercial pre-made rubs on this channel, but there's a new rub available here and I really wanted to try it out. And that is the Zavala's Barbecue Bird Rub, which I thought would be perfect for this. So I picked this up from Pro Smoke here in the UK. It smells really good. It tastes really good just tasting it out of the pot. It's definitely got some coriander in there and some chili as well. It's also quite a dark rub, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this looks on the chicken. So I'm going to go on with a nice layer of this. And you might be thinking I've already applied salt, but a lot of that salt is now inside the bird rather than on the surface. So the exterior of this chicken is far less salty than it was 4 hours ago. So these can just hang out here for a bit, lose that fridge cold temp whilst we fire up the pit. And for me today, that's going to be the chub box. So I said I prefer grilled chicken, which I do, but it can be kind of difficult to cook chicken over direct heat on something like a Weber or a PK, where the coals are pretty close to the meat itself. Obviously the meat is closer to the heat source, so you're more at risk of things on the outside cooking way quicker than the inside. And with the chicken thighs specifically, I want to give them a good amount of time for the connective tissue to break down and get nice and tender. So I want to have elements of the low and slow, as well as the direct heat flavor from charcoal. And with the Chud Box floor being so much further away from the grates, I can cook directly over the coals, but it's going to be a much slower and much more gentle cook, whilst also being direct. For me, this gives me the best results. Direct heat flavor, but still the texture of a slowly cooked chicken. Well, reasonably slow. So most of this charcoal has burned down. I'm going to dump this chimney in. And I'm not going to wait for this pit to heat up or anything like that. I'm just going to chuck these on bone side down, spine on there as well. And these are going to cook over this direct heat for the next couple of hours. I will flip them, get all that skin crisped up at the very end, but mostly we're going to be cooking bone side down over this charcoal at a nice distance. And we'll come back in about an hour or so, see how these thighs are getting on. And we're going to be cooking at about 275 to 300. So about an hour and a half later, these have been running around 275 to 300 the whole time. They're looking good, nice and dry on the surface, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some nice crispy skin. Not too worried about the internal temperature right now. Gonna flip these over. Ooh, juicy. Some real nice dark color on there, that's what we want. Nothing's burnt, and if I push that down, you can see all that juice coming out. From here, we're gonna cook skin side down, meat side down, thigh side down, probably for the rest of the cook. Okay, just out of interest. Okay, we're at 172 in the leg. We'll keep cooking until the thing that takes the longest gets to where I want it to be, which is gonna be the thigh and the leg. So when they hit about 190, take them off. So a total of 2 hours and 10 minutes since I put this chicken on, and ignore my wobbly Chud Box. My floor isn't level. These are looking nice. That skin's getting nice and crispy in most places. In the thigh, we're looking at about 188, 190 in places, and we're a little bit higher in the breast than I'd like at 160-ish. So we'll take these inside and let them rest. So this chicken has been resting a little while, and if I hadn't already made it clear, I love the fact that we can get tender chicken, really well cooked, low and slow, thighs and legs with the flavor of direct heat. This is gonna be delicious. Cut it apart, take that thigh off, break that leg down. Thigh there, looking very nice and juicy. Same with the leg, looking good. I mean, this isn't gonna win any awards in terms of how good it looks. It was quite a dusty rub that we put on there, but all that matters is that it tastes good. So what I like to do is just try and pick off those rib bones at the back. You can eat those, all the meat attached to it anyway. So we've got our wing flat, drum, and then we've got our boneless chicken breast. So we'll cut into this and see how juicy it looks. Hopefully it does look somewhat juicy. That is looking very good. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to see with this really bright white studio light next to me. It smells incredible. That direct heat smell is very unique. It smells like we cooked it on a traditional barbecue without it being overly smoky. I'm really looking forward to biting into this. A well-cooked thigh is one of my favorites. I think I'm gonna go for this leg. Just comes off the bone. The meat on the inside, nice and juicy, and that's what you want. You need to allow some time to break down the connective tissue in the thighs and the legs in order for chicken to be good. Otherwise it would just be tough. And you can do that really easy on pretty much every barbecue if you do it indirect. But the fact that you get to cook this direct, get those direct flavors, all that fat and juices dripping down onto the coals, whilst getting the low and slow texture, that's what makes old school direct heat cooking so good. And that breast is still nice and juicy. That dry brine definitely helped. That Zavala's bird rub is good. Not spicy at all, I thought it would be. Sweeter than I thought it would be. Kind of almost tastes like peri-peri chicken. A little bit of Texas Pete's wouldn't go amiss. Thighs are great if you cook them well, if they fall apart nicely. This for me is a perfect way to cook whole chicken. So thanks very much for watching this video. Remember to click the link below to get 15% discount off your first order at ZBiotics. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It really, really does help me out. And I'll see you next week for another video.